Quick update about PulseX yield farms, baby dolls. So just confirm that you are a baby doll pumpkin with sugar lips, and we are going to look at the yield farms today. These numbers have been crashing through the floor when we look at the yields. We're going to go through some very quick impermanent loss calculations as well. You're going to hear a lot about this. Everyone gets confused. I'm going to go through with you. Very succinct, very easy. We're going to keep it simple. I don't want to do any of these ratios or this other stuff, okay? Whenever you look at any farm, okay, any farm. So look at this top one. Do you see what this says? This says PLSX to WPLS. So don't worry about the W. That means wrapped. It's PulseX to Pulse LP. You want to go and bring up this chart, okay? This is how you measure your risk. So if you go to dexscreener.com/pulse chain, you'll have everything here. You want to find, look at this first one is PulseX to Pulse. I've clicked on it, and this will bring me the chart. What will happen is, so it will actually bring you this chart. It's the USD pricing, okay? See this button up here? Switch to WPLS. If you click on it, it'll just switch to this chart. Now that you've clicked on it, you get to see the ratio. So this is your actual risk. Your risk is, so your ratio is, we are in this here. We're in the no diddle zone. Your risk with these is that this ratio goes up or down wildly. That's the risk. So what you actually want when you do LP is to do this forever. You stay stable. That's what you want. But ratios move over time. And it's going to take time for you to see what the actual real move is. So yes, if these move down, you will have impermanent loss. And impermanent loss means if you go and sell your coins, this is the extra loss you're going to have compared to just holding them. That's the damage. I have a link here for you, coingecko.com, impermanent loss calculator. And there are, do you see this part? Asset price 1 and asset price 2. You can play with these numbers, okay? So you might say to me, hey, I want to buy into these two coins. By the way, PulseX to Pulse is very safe, but we're just starting with it right now, okay? Obviously, it's very safe. It's got a lot of mind share. It's related to the Richard Heart ecosystem, related to Hex. So it is safe. So I'm starting with this. But with this, if you are in two coins, let's say, for example, let's say from here, let's say you just literally, you did this LP for the next 2.5 years, okay? And let's say PulseX does a 50x and Pulse Chain does a 100x, okay? So you will do 50,000%, right? So this is 500x, 5,000%, and then 10,000%. You can see you still have a bit of a loss here. All right, I'm going to show it up for you. See down here, 5.565% loss. So yes, what this actually means is if you sell your coins, so for example, if you put in, let's say some of you have 10,000 PLS right now, 10,000. That means from here, you will have 9,500. Since most of you have 10 million PLS, so you'd have 9.5 million up here. You've actually lost that when you exit. Now, you're not going to really care because everything went up so much. You're just going to be like, oh, wow, I'm in profit, okay? So this isn't really the one you got to worry about because you'll be making fees along the way and everything should be sweet. Now, remember, this is a safe one. What if we did something where, let's say you're in an LP, and by the way, there are other riskier LPs. So if you go down here, if you see, for example, there is WETH, so Ethereum and wrapped Pulse Chain. So Ethereum and PLS. There's also Hex and PLS, but that's not going to be as dangerous as this Ethereum and PLS, or even Ethereum with the stablecoins. Now you can start to see, whoa, there's going to be some big differences. So even if you think this one, is safe, Pulse Chain to Ethereum, I want you to see what happens to you if you do it long term. So if Ethereum, let's say Ethereum does like a 3 or 4x. So remember, Ethereum goes to now $6,000 to $8,000. Okay, what would happen if Pulse had done a 100x? Look what happens here. 61% loss. Yes, I'm not joking. That's true, friends. That's true. Yes, 61% loss. So if you had 10 million Pulse, all right, when you sell it, you think, so you let's say you put 10 million Pulse in and then you see the Pulse price at 0.001. You're like, wow, we made it. Or 100x, yeah, 0.001. You're going to probably, before you remove your LP, before you click around and see what you got, you're going to just do 0.001. You're going to do 10 million. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I made $10,000, right? That's what you're going to think has happened, okay? So you made a Actually, this is not correct. I did the wrong. It'll be $100,000, baby dolls. Yes, so it'll be $100,000. So 10 million, it'll be 0.01. So if we get 0.01, you get the 100x. Okay, so we have $100,000 made. That's great. So you're gonna think you made 100K. You're gonna be like, yes, sweet. But this is the sad reality of this. When you go and you actually check it, you're gonna be missing 60% of your coins. So actually, your part here is you're gonna only have $40,000. Now, I hope you see the damage here, what happens. This is what happens after a long time. So one thing went up 2, 3, 4x. The other thing went up 100x. You get absolutely obliterated over time. So you must be compensated by this. So it's not all doom and gloom. What happens is, okay, you get yield along the way. See, so you're getting this yield, and by the way, this yield is going down. So effectively, I mean, the game is, it's a race against time. The game is you harvest your yield every day, and you use it to rebuy your PLS. And you're trying to beat it as fast as you can before everybody else can come and join the liquidity pool with you and push up PLS. That's the game. These get super risky as you go to different ones. So you can even see, right, this is why these numbers, I don't do any of this, okay? I play around in this, but you ain't making it with a big part in any of these risky degen things. This is how a lot of people get wrecked. So I know, for example, there are people out there, they've got $10,000, and what they'll do is they'll say, hey, I want to put $5,000 into Pulse, $5,000 into USDT Tether, and I want to farm this, okay? Just want you to see what happens over time. So your USDT is not going to move, okay? And look how what happens to your PLS if it goes 100x. Look at this impermanent loss. You've lost 80% of your coins. That's because in the liquidity pool, you are providing to people who want to buy. So when they're buying, you're sitting there in the offer. You don't sell all your PLS at 100x. You're selling it to them at 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. You're selling to them the whole way through. Isn't that disgusting? So this makes your situation even worse. You would think, let's say you provided 10 million PLS into this pool and then the equivalent US dollar amount, you would only have 2 million PLS by the end of it. So if you do 0.01 to 2 million, look what you're only going to have. You, instead of having $100,000, you're only going to have $20,000. All because you started eating the carrot on stick and you chased it. Okay, so you're chasing all of these. So of course, you can play with these 5% of your portfolio, 3 to 5, 10% if you come in super early. With these yield farms, you got to get in really early. You got to get that early batch of the early inflation, literally within hours. I'm not even joking, within hours. I only did a bit of these because I was in when Richard Hart in the first 40 minutes posted it. If you see it, you join. If not, just leave it. Don't worry about it, okay? But you still have the option to play around if you want. You get to learn. So this impermanent loss, it's real. I just showed you this. I did the example. Now, a lot of people, they're not going to show you this example. Do you know why? Because they're paper hands, okay? The paper hands, they are saying, oh, well, you got $5,000 sitting there and then you have the money in the PLS. You may as well use it. No. See, this is a trap, okay? To me, I've told you right now, for me, personally, I am a peanut brain, okay? My brain is literally just mashed potatoes with some gravy and some peas in there, okay? If I have $5,000 sitting there, it's not going to be in USDT. It's going into PLS, okay? This is what you would do. This is, if you want to make the most amount of money in 2.5 years on an asymmetric bet, this is what you do. It's not perfect because there might be volatility along the way, but think about this. All we care about is 2025. All this in between, up, down, left, right, jizz, jazz, I don't care. I don't care about this, what's happening in 2023, 2024. Come speak to me in 2025. Are you here to win the game or not? If you're here to win, well, you got to straighten your back, you got to wear your fluffy slippers, and you got to sit on your squeaky chairs like I am. If you had $5,000 in USDT, think about this. At the end of 2.5 years, you still have $5,000 in USDT. But if you put it into PLS, it might be 500K. Think about that loss. So your loss is even bigger than what you think it is. All right? That 5K missing out on a 100X if it goes up there. But of course, I say this to you with I'm so convicted and everything's going to just work out. It doesn't always work out. So I can completely empathize with people who want to chase this short-term stuff. But this short-term chasing stuff, this is a trap. We just exited a bear market pretty much. Like we've been in how long? A year and a half of death. It's just a matter of time before these things just start going up. And as they go up, you get further and further away. You know, this impermanent loss, it even hurts you, right? Even at a 10x. right? Look at this. This is a 10x. Look at your impermanent loss, 44%. So that's right. So if let's say you're LPing and you don't want to get out, you don't want to exit your LP and book the loss, which a lot of people don't. They just want to get the yield because they feel safe. If in 9 months from now, Pulse is 10x above, you have lost 44%. Okay. So if let's say you put in $5,000 into it, instead of getting 50K, you're only going to get like 24, 23K. You're going to be very tilted and very burning. And you're going to hope that the yield you used along the way has more than made up for it. But there's no guarantees. These people who do these are professionals. You can do this. I mean, the liquidity is very low if you can even bridge in with other money. But as soon as the bridges open, you see these numbers, you're looking at these numbers, you're probably thinking, oh, these numbers sound big. No. Look at it. Okay. So these numbers are dropping. You see this APR up here? This was like 2,000% in the first day. It's already down. I mean, it's only been like, what, 5 days or something? It's already down to 47%. It is dropping like a rock every day. Every day, the yield rate. By the way, this yield is per year. So if you want to find out, so 47, you do divide that by 365, you're only getting 0.12% per day. So you might look at this super risky one. You go, okay, what about like Ethereum and then Pulse Chain, right? You do 3,771. You can divide that by 365. You're like, wow, I'm making 10% per day. Yeah, yesterday this was 30,000%. So it's already dropped by 90%. Imagine as soon as the bridge is opening, which is the next 24 hours, as soon as more people come in and clog, the liquidity is going to keep shooting up. I remember when this liquidity was like $200,000. Already a day later, it's 800,000. It's 4x'd. It's probably going to 4x again. And this is going to go down to just 1% a day. So you might say, wow, 1% a day is great. It is until it becomes 0.5% per day, 0.2% per day. This is what everybody does. All these yield farmers, they come in, they look at these little carrot numbers like, 0.05, 0.1%. They're so buckled into these little numbers. We're here, instead of 0.1%, look what we're after. We're after 10,000%. That's what we're here for. So, this is an optimistic bull case. Do you want to know how badly you get destroyed if you get this wrong? Let's say, for example, like, I know this is crazy to some people, but let's say you're in two things. One of them is down 30%, but the other one went up a 10x. Look at this, okay? You get absolutely obliterated. You've lost half your stack. And it's even worse because you picked the thing wrong. One thing's down 30%. So if you had $10,000 put in, you'd lose 5K out of this to the top, but also you'd have $5,000 when you should have $20,000. This is how bad it is if you get the wrong thing. All right, so you're missing out on 4 times as much money. And even if you're in the stablecoin, look at this. It's the same thing pretty much. So in your stablecoin scenario, let's say you had $10,000. Instead of just having $10,000 in PLS, if you start doing this farm stuff and it goes wrong, you're going to end up with $5,000. But somebody who just stayed there, they're going to have the $20,000. And then think about what happens later on as it keeps going up, even bigger. They're going to have $100,000 and you're only going to have like 25K less. This thing, the numbers get giant as you start to go up and you stretch it out over time. That's why these things are very, very short term. So before you look at any of these, you have to look at how much the price can deviate. You just got to go through dexscreener.com and you check these out. Now, there's going to be more yield farms coming. So there's going to be more incentives put in as this, remember the bridge is opening now. Look at this. I'm even watching this live, baby dolls, claimed 20%. This was 18% just half an hour ago. So this is going up. So more and more people are coming in. We're going to see this. People are going to start linking it in. There's going to be Hex on Ethereum, Hex on Pulse Chain, all these different ones. I don't like the risk metrics when it comes to a lot of these. You are always better off clipping in full amount and go, that's it, see you in 2.5 years. I understand it's boring. That's why you don't have to do all of these 100%. You can put some of your lottery money in here. You might say, hey, I've got 10% of money here. Can I yield farm? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You know what one strategy is that you can do? So this is a potential strategy, but let's do the PulseX to Pulse. Let's do this ratio. So it's potential. I mean, the yield is actually, this is really garbage, by the way. I mean, I hope the incentive token goes up. So I still think it might be worth your while to do this a bit, all right? Because this rate is poo-poo. However, right now, all the coins are still down. An incentive token, INC, is linked to everything. So if I just go here, I'll show you. See INC here? Incentive token is $6. But it's only $6 because look, even Hex on Pulse Chain is less than 1 cent. Everything is really, really down. PulseX is down 80%. Okay, you can see this. See these numbers? Oh, huge down, huge down. So because they're all linked by liquidity, if these recover back to sacrifice prices and incentive token goes up like 4x and incentive token is back to $20, you're going to see these numbers. See how this says 47%? It's going to be about 200%. So it's going to be worth it. So don't just focus on these numbers for now. And obviously you need the money to come in the bridge. But it is possible for you. If you want to experiment with these and you have Pulse in there and you want to play around, you can put some of your bags in here and you'll farm and you'll harvest basically every day. You just click here and you'll see this harvest button. It'll say, oh, I've earned some incentive token. Wow. Then you can decide what you want to do with them. You can say, hey, I want to buy more PLS. Or what I would do, right, for most of you, if you're doing this with under $10,000, I would strongly suggest don't go buying any of these big bags. How much are you really going to make of them? Think about it, right? You're going to have to really search for super undervalued stuff. You might buy ICOSA on Pulse Chain, right? But that might be Hex on leverage. You might buy anything else that you might find interesting as well. You might also just use it to buy more, say, PulseX or Pulse. You can do that, but just understand that with your yield so low, you're taking the super long-term punt anyway, right? Because those numbers are only going to start to matter for you later on. So, for example, if you're making $10 a day, it is going to matter a lot in the future, right? Just imagine these things 10x, right? Sorry, 100x in the future. That'll be $1,000 made every day in the future. So yeah, it does make sense actually when you think about this. But you just got to promise yourself you don't go playing around and do a lot of things that, start to destroy your portfolio. There's also this speculation that incentive token will be used for something, and who knows, it probably will. Probably will. We don't know any of all the answers here. There are people stacking incentive token as well. I'm just letting you know, and a lot of people get upset, friends. I just want to let you know, okay, many years ago, okay, I've been in part of certain groups, right? Know a lot of people, whatever. They're scum. All right. What people will do is they will come and seek information about pools and information and what to do and what to buy. They will come and seek it. But when you ask for help and you ask them, hey, what are you currently in? What can I do? They'll go silent. Radio silent. I've had this happen to me more than 3 times. Those people, I hope they're listening out here, they are absolute complete scum. They'll just completely ignore you. They'll just pretend like they didn't see a message or anything because they're all filthy vultures and they want to see these farms. They just want to use all the money and get it for themselves. I don't care. This is how much I know long-term holding is going to absolutely crush any of these breadcrumbs here. That's how much I love you, okay? I'm an outsider like you. I don't like that behavior that I see out there. These people are absolute trash and scum. And I always said to myself, if I ever had a platform to teach people, I will. I'm not going to hide this from you. So I can show you here what to do. Okay. Yes, it's up to you. This incentive token that you farmed, we're taking a punt. You can collect it if you want. More than happy to. Or you can rotate it into something else. I want to let you know the ratios of everything. There's nothing super cheap. Okay. If there is anything, if you said to me, hey, what's a super conservative thing to do? You might just do Hex. You might just do Hex. Just because Hex on Pulse Chain is like less than a cent. This is 1 cent here. Ethereum Hex is like 2.7 or 3 cents. It's been destroyed. But can you imagine one day this goes to 10 cents? You can. Right? So you can do that and you can farm that here and think, wow, I can make yield on yield. Right? But don't forget, if you're in PulseX or Pulse rotating it, you're not making a wrong move anyway because everything is linked together. So with all of this, you've learned, to recap, you've learned about impermanent loss. You've seen the absolute death and destruction that happens when prices deviate heaps, and the longer you stay in, the prices do deviate, okay? And you've also seen what happens if you're an actual poopy head and you either sell some of your bags or you have USDT undeployed, okay? This is not safe money, friends. This is not USDT. I'm not talking about Pulse. I'm just saying these stable coins are not safe at the very bottom of the mountain right before a bull market. They are not safe at all. They had maximum safety at the top of the bull market. Maximum. What happens at the bottom of the bear market? They have minimum safety. That's how you have to think. Every $5,000 you keep as a portion there is going to buy you less and less of the position that you want by the end of 2025. Think about it like that, okay? Now, I know this carrot on the stick, it is addictive. You can play around with it, but hey, From here, it's on you. You got to be completely sure. Okay, if you're going to punt in anything, you should not be going beyond PulseX to Pulse at all. I refuse to let you do that with any of these big bags. These, I'm sorry, they're absolute trash. You're going to see the trashiest of trash people come in here. You're going to see the degens, the yield farmers. They come in here, they dump the yield, they go. You're going to see what it's all about. But hey, they're going to make activity. They're going to pump out our bags. Tell mum and dad that you love them. Also, tell them the unclogging is finally happening. Like, subscribe, button, all friends, and catch you next one.